at 5:17 p.m. on September 23rd, 2020. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioners Gershenson,
Here.
Gingell,
Here.
Hoffman,
Commissioner Hoffman's trying to sign on.
okay, I will come back to him, thank you. Jackson,
Commissioner Jackson?
looks frozen.
Nope, she's moving.
Here.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. Kokendorfer,
Here.
Kowal,
Here.
Kuhn,
Here.
Long,
Here.
Lubes,
Here.
Markham,
Here.
McGilvray,
Here.
Middleton,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Nelson,
Here.
Howell,
Here.
Quarles,
Here.
Spiz,
Here.
Taub, is Commissioner Taub here? Okay, Wipert,
It looks like she's on mute.
oh,
Whiteford
Commissioner
is here.
Wipert is here, thank you. Did somebody say Commissioner Taub is on mute? Oh, Commissioner Taub, are you here? Can you unmute yourself?
Hey,
'Cause I can't
Shelley.
see you. I'll come back to her.
Yes, I'm
Woodward?
here.
Ah, there you are. Thank you, Commissioner. Woodward,
Here.
Zach,
Here.
Hoffman. Did he connect? Commissioner
You should
Hoffman?
be signing on. I sent him the link.
You see the last one, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Well, how about we end the roll and then we'll record him when he appears so we can move forward.
That's fine. Okay, well, you have a quorum.
All right, the quorum is established. The invocation this evening will be led by the Honorable William Miller. I recognize Commissioner William Miller, who will begin the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And we can use the flag behind Clerk Brown. Commissioner Miller. Commissioner Miller? Commissioner Miller, you're on mute if you're speaking. Mr. Ward, can you confirm with Mr. Miller if he's...
Will do.
I don't see him on the list of participants right now, unless he's a caller.
I'm sorry. He sent me a message. He's having some issues. If he asked if he could hold for just a moment.
Okay. Pause for a moment.
And Commissioner Hoffman is signing in too. I'm not sure if he paid it on yet or not. Just talked to him a moment ago.
For those who are watching live or watching on replay, we are waiting for some technical connections, trying to pull all 21 commissioners together. See Commissioner Hoffman. There's Commissioner Hoffman. Okay.
Present. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Here.
All right, I'm here. I'm having some internet issues and over
Okay.
here at the house, so I'm trying
Okay.
to deal with that.
All right. Do you
Um,
want? You want to give the invocation? Are you going to? Can you give the invocation
Sure.
where you are? Okay. So why don't you give the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance?
All right. Let us all stand. Lord, I ask you to give us strength, confidence, and courage in this time. As we all know, we all feel some kind of uncertainty, some kind of worry, some kind of afraidness. Some feel depression, some feel fear, some are overwhelmed with this situation. What sets us apart from this situation is our fear is conquered by our faith in our county. I ask you to bless all of our county commissioners at this time, all the people that reside in Oakland County in this troubled time, and ask you for your guidance and ease our hearts in this time. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Ready for the pledge?
Yep.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag.
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
Which stands.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller, for leading us to the invocation and the pledge. Next up, we have approval of the minutes for the September 3rd meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Commissioner Zach, seconded by Commissioner Markham. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the minutes were approved unanimously. That moves us on to approval of the agenda. I recognize Commissioner McGilvery.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have 3 items that will be taken up on the Health, Safety, and Human Services Committee. Like with waiving Rule 3, the 3 items are miscellaneous Resolution 2325, which is feasibility study for Oakland County Sheriff's Training and Emergency Operations Center. The second is Board of Commissioners develop and issue a request for proposal of purchase, maintenance, and video management of body worn cams for the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. And the last is Human Services Health Division authorize execution of agreement for preliminary acceptance of fiscal year 2021 local health department agreement grant funds.
So Commissioner McGilvery moves the agenda with those suspensions, seconded by Commissioner Spiz. Any discussion on the agenda? Are there any items on the consent agenda that any member has to be pulled on the regular? Those 3 items that Commissioner McGilvery referenced, we will be recessing so that Health, Safety, and Human Services Committee can meet. Commissioner Spiz.
Yes, and then that's one of the points I want to bring up, just point of clarification. Can we truly vote on and approve an agenda if those items have not yet been reviewed at committee?
Yes, the agenda is presented pending committee approval. And if the committee doesn't, if the committee takes action and approves them, we can take action on them afterwards.
Because it will depend on where those get placed on the agenda, also under consent or regular agenda, unless you're going to assume they're all under regular, which I believe they're under consent right
But
now.
the agenda is printed with them all under regular.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the agenda is approved unanimously. That'll bring us to communications. I believe, Madam Clerk, you have a few communications. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry, I had to get my mouse over there.
Oh, okay.
I have multiple monitors and I had to get it up there. Anyway, so yes, we have 3 this evening. The first is a resolution from the Huron Valley School Board, just expressing their appreciation to the board and Oakland County leaders for the Oakland Together School COVID Support Fund. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but we have that. If anybody wants to see the details, so if they want to say thank you. The second is a memo dated September 23rd to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners regarding a grant application in excess of $250,000 and, you know, the whole board approval and timing and all that. So it was for the Oakland County Health and Human Services Community and Home Improvement Division, prepared an Emergency Solutions Grant Round 2 ESG-CVT application on behalf of Oakland County in the amount of $2,033,828. Due to the changes in the board's grant submission process and the board's calendar, it was not possible for the department to submit the application for full board consideration in accordance with our normal procedures. The application was reviewed by all appropriate county departments. I've authorized the submission of this grant application. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman of the Board of Commissioners. And the third is also dated September 23rd to the members of the Board of Commissioners. Dear colleagues, we are pleased to present the attached detailed statistics of the allocations per school district and public school academy with the weighted factors described in miscellaneous resolution 20369, establishment of the Oakland Together School COVID-10 Support Fund and appropriation of $28 million from CARES Act Coronavirus Relief Funds. And I don't know if that was supposed to say COVID-19, but it says COVID-10 on here. The school districts have not yet been informed of this number. An informational session with the school districts is going to be set in the next 2 weeks to explain what expenses are eligible for reimbursement and the process for submitting those expenses to the county. This process will be similar to the CVT's grant program, and the full board will vote on each resolution and interlocal agreement once it is approved. In addition, there are 6 school buildings in Oakland County, Oakland portion of Northville, Troy, Leonard, that are connected to other intermediate school districts. Those buildings will be eligible for reimbursed expenses based on the per pupil amount of $46.43, which is approximately $150,000 total for all 6. Sincerely, Oakland Together School COVID-19 Support Fund Oversight Committee. And I do have that report attached in many pages as well.
Thank you, Madam
Mr.
Clerk.
Chair, if I may, is that going to be sent out to everybody to?
Was it just,
Communication?
it wasn't sent out, I was under the impression it was sent out to everybody. Was it just sent to staff and the
Mr.
clerk?
Mr. Chair, if I can, that was part of our deputy county exec's communication that was sent out on Sunday. We just excerpted that one part of it. You received a regular report from the deputy county executive and it
And it had the breakout of the schools and everything else in it with the percentages.
Yes.
The attachment was
Yeah.
on there.
I'll have to go back and look at it. I didn't see it.
Okay.
Thank you.
If any commissioner cannot locate it, we can have staff resend it to you as well. Commissioner Gershenson.
Thank you.
Discussion on the communication.
Madam Clerk, I would like to get a copy of that thank you letter from Huron Valley Schools.
Okay, it was a resolution, but we can have it, well, I mean, Joanne or somebody, or my staff, if you need, can forward it to you, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you.
I get a motion to receive and file the communications. Moved by Commissioner Hoffman, seconded by Commissioner Weipert. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of receiving the communication, say aye.
I can't even hear.
Aye.
I've got it tuned up.
Aye.
Commissioner Todd, we can hear you. Somebody want to mute? Commissioner Todd, Commissioner Todd, we can hear you.
What? He's talking, I can't hear.
We can hear you. Commission, all in favor of receiving the communication, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the communications were received unanimously. That brings us to the public comment portion of this agenda. In this meeting, we'll have 2 public comment sessions. The members of the public are invited to speak and address the board for 3 minutes. If you exceed the time period of 3 minutes, you'll be asked to wrap up your comments so that we can allow plenty of time to hear everybody. We will also have a public hearing as part of the annual budget process come later in the meeting. Andrea, are you there?
Yes.
There you are. Andrea, if there's people in the auditorium to speak during public comment or through the phone or through written communications, why don't you start with the written communications if there are any?
Sure. We have one written communication, and then we have another on the line that would like to submit for public record. It's from Elaine Sepatoris from South Lyon. She writes, Oakland County issued a kennel license in 2016 to the Dog Lodge at Dandy Acres, located at 56560 10 Mile Road, South Lyon, without Lyon Township approval. The special land use for Dandy Acres states that the property could not be used for a boarding kennel. The enforcement list at Lyon Township shows that they are legally operating and have been on this list since December of 2015. I FOIA'd Oakland County and Lyon Township, and neither one has proof of township approval to operate a kennel. The next was an online submission, but is on the phone. Would like to speak freely for 3 minutes. Patrick Tetra, would you like to speak?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Should I go now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Dear Commissioners, I am writing concerning the case of Gloriana Moore, which originated at a traffic stop in Pontiac, Michigan on May 8th and is now exacerbated into a 50th District Court felony case scheduled before Judge Martinez on October 22nd, 2020. I am speaking only for myself as a concerned citizen. I am a 57-year-old white male, career engineer in the auto industry. I have no vested interest in politics or Oakland County government. My statement is, however, influenced by the following. Channel 7 Detroit news report. Skilled reporting documenting a troubling police interaction between Miss Moore and the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. The news report introduction. A woman violently pulled from her car, then falsely charged with a crime, was substantiated by the dash cam video shown, expert consultant questions, interviews conducted, and documents revealed. The segment posted on YouTube has 184,000 views and 2,079 comments, mostly negative. The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops wrote in response to the death of George Floyd, racism is not a thing of the past or simply a throwaway political issue to be bandied about when convenient. It is real and present danger that must be met head on. Business leaders take stand against racism June 3rd, 2020. The automotive CEOs and other industry leaders vowed to the following principles: reject all forms of bias, racism, sexism, violence within our companies and communities. Relative to government officials, every person must be held accountable for their actions. Eliminate any possibility of conflict of interest in the course of the judicial process. Invest in plans and policies that transform the disparities that exist within these communities as we remain partners both locally and nationally. I do not equate the George Floyd case with the Gloriana Moore case, but relate them by police interactions that were unnecessarily escalated with needless violence injected by the police. Ms. Moore's case is our local wake-up call. We now easily fit into a national list of shame by the numbers. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, leading with the police for breathing space gets you 9 minutes of a fatal knee to your neck. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, getting into your family vehicle against peace orders may get you 7 paralyzing bullets shot into your back. And now in Oakland County, Michigan, within 10 seconds of a routine traffic stop, you may get violently extracted from your vehicle, charged with felonies, vehicle impounded, and personal property seized. For this service, you need not commit a crime. Just ask the common question.
Excuse me,
Officer, why
Patrick.
did you pull me over?
That was the end of your 3 minutes. Could you?
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Then next we have Lisa Brown that's on the meeting that would like to speak, and then we have a live room that we'll call up in sequence.
Thank you. I just wanted to address the news story that I'm sure all of you saw regarding the move ballots and the errors on that, and ensure that everybody knows that that was not a county program. That is a state program that has nothing to do with how our ballots were our machines were programmed, how our ballots were printed. It's totally separate. I know I received emails about sample ballots being incorrect as well. Again, that is not the county's program. That is at the state level, and the state has corrected that. Our ballots are all fine. They have everything correct. I just want everybody to know that. And I held, yesterday was National Voter Registration Day. I held drive-through voter registration. And I had a woman come who showed me a mail piece and questioned me about it and the information that was on it. And it didn't have a disclosure on it, but the postage paid thing said from California, and it had incorrect information on it. And I just want everyone to be wary of things that they get from unknown sources, from misinformation and disinformation. And it said that you could get a ballot from your county clerk starting September 20th. First of all, you don't get your ballot from your county clerk. And second of all, the time frame for that is September 24th in Michigan. So starting tomorrow, people will be able to get their ballots if they want in person from their local clerks, their city and township clerks. And you do not return your ballots to the county clerk. Again, that is to your city and township clerk. Michigan is different than 46 other states. 46 states all do it at the county level. We don't. So please question mail that you get from an unknown source. And if you have any questions, feel free to call my office for clarification on something. Thank you.
Thank you. So first up, they'll announce themselves and come up to the mic, and I'll reset the timer. Just your name and the community you're from.
Dorsha McGee from Pontiac, Michigan. You guys heard me spoke last time at the meeting on Zoom, but you couldn't see my face, so I'm here. Thank you for this opportunity. But however, I am the first social worker in history to be retaliated against for reporting illegal activity. And the last retaliation that occurred to me was in November 2017. And I am seeking a court date with Judge Hallmark to end corruption and retaliation that has occurred to me, because what's happening, the probate judges has been misled. What happened about my social work history and career, and what led up to the false imprisonment. And also I am a victim of false imprisonment and healthcare fraud that is happening out here in Oakland County. I'm not going to disclose the parties, but however, there's going to be an upcoming big documentary, and I'm going to write a book about this here. So be on the lookout. And once again, I want a court hearing with Judge Hallmark to clear my name so I can get back to work. God bless you all.
Your name and the community you're from.
Hi, I don't see me, but my name is Jody White. I too am a victim of abuse, retaliation. I have 3 things I'd like to talk with you today. It's really an update, awareness, and education. I'm going back to some of the agendas that your Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committees brought to the commissioners. They made aware of some of the poor mismanagement that's out there. Some of it is in probate court. You guys were able to reestablish an Oakland County Human Trafficking Task Force to obtain $98,000 to help expose the human trafficking. And we have human trafficking in probate court. We've been here a couple of years, and you've heard this before. So I'm also here to bring up another really huge point. On 12/5/2018, there was a Board of Commissioners, Joanne Strongfellow. She was provided an email with resolution 95068. He appointed Ed Hutton to the Job Evaluation Review Panel. Now, this was a couple months after some of the court employees went to my jury trial and said that I was in their personal space when I wanted to write an incident report. They all knew I wanted to write an incident report, and instead of helping me, they pushed an emergency button, and then a sheriff did the same thing. She came in and told me she was going to help me with an incident report and did not. So this job evaluation review panel sounds awesome. Ed Hutton's in it, Kimberly Noble, and Under Sheriff Michael McCabe with 2 other members. The panel is supposed to be over with on 12/31/20. I would like to get access to the job evaluation review panel guidelines. I would like to see what evaluations did happen for the people that were involved with myself and some of the other people here that are not getting a petition. They have a petition, but they're not getting their hearing. There's definitely some mismanagement. The last and final thing I'd like to bring up.
Jesse, I got something.
Excuse me?
You're good. I'm sorry. Commissioner's mic went live. Please continue, Ms. White.
So thank you so much. The last thing is Senate Bill 790. I want to thank Senator Jim Runstead, Ruth Johnson, and Tom Barrett. They are Oakland County state senators in the Judiciary Committee. We have been walking with them regarding the Senate Bill 790. They're making it very clear that we must have some video management here. We have $4.3 million worth of video equipment. Some of it went missing when a sheriff did decide to hurt me, but at the end of the day, $4.3 million is a lot of money for videos. And they're saying that a video recording must be available for public access, and it must be a complete recording of all public portions of the court proceedings, and not to be edited to remove, here's the big part, not to remove any portion of the recording that was viewable to any of the individuals who were physically presented at the proceeding. So in closing, I want to talk to Mr. Whitehurt. He was in a court hearing in January. He heard Judge O'Brien say very egregious things about Attorney General and about the people that have been coming and asking for an internal audit and investigation of our probate. This company here, the commissioners, you guys do pay the rent and you do pay for the court employees. So we appreciate all the stuff that you have in place, but we would like to follow through with it and make sure that we're seeing the evaluations. Because a lot of people would like to have their day in court and their names cleared. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My name is Jeff White, and I have been here speaking in regards to the probate court issue for probably my 4th time in a couple of years, at least a good handful. And I do want to thank Mr. Gingle a couple of years back that he did start out by sending out a letter to, I think it was MAC and things of that nature, trying to show that we did have a little bit of a question anyhow with the probate court, but then things kind of came back with, there was a lot of misinformation and the status. So, you know, Mr. Mack has been taken away to another area of the courts, and in my opinion, he is a faceless bureaucrat, but that's just my opinion of him. But my story, I have told a lot of you probably 2 years ago, and I'm not going to bore you with it because, you know, I never heard back from a lot of people. And after being in the probate court, though, this January 15th of this year, 2020, before the COVID situation, I witnessed a commissioner, and it was Commissioner Mr. Gate there. And I thought, for one moment, I thought, wow, maybe folks, these ladies and gentlemen, are actually court watching, doing something in regards to the probate issues that are taking place, the massive billing and the side dealings with some of the insiders that the judges have up there. And I'm going to name those insiders, Mr. Ehrlich and Mr. Frazier, because they have done me a fun deal on my father's estate, probably worth $1.8 million. And they're probably 90% all the way, you know, they've mopped it up pretty good now. And I believe the judge actually threw my wife in jail. If anybody ever wants to see that video, it's a woman with her voice county for freedom of speech. See it on there. And she's up there and she doesn't say anything to the judge, but the judge just sits there and rips her apart. And then after she leaves, he's tackled out in the hallway and all the film disappears. So anyhow, I'm gonna close out here, ladies and gentlemen, with, you know, just saying that, you know, the massive billing and the unethical self-dealings in the probate court still continue. I'm elated about one thing in this county here, and that is that Jessica Cooper is not being elected. And I do believe these courts need to have some oversight and reform. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name's Tom Howe. I'm from Genesee County and from Fenton, just outside of northern Oakland County. I've come here a couple times before. And tomorrow I have to go to a funeral for a friend's mom who was taken here as a ward of the state several years ago, and her estate was pillaged and destroyed. And finally, at 95 years old, her mom died in a nursing home against her will, and her son hasn't seen her in years. So just to bring this all home here, you have a Health and Safety and Human Services Committee. You also have a Pandemic Response and Economic Recovery Committee by David T. Woodward. We have nursing homes and assisted livings right now where family members cannot be, finally a week ago got visitation and they have to stay 6 feet apart. But what's been going on behind the scenes is family members been taking them to doctor's visits and they're out for hours at a time. And who knows what kind of COVID-19 potential possibility all these family members have taking them to doctors. The nursing homes aren't, and the assisted livings don't have personnel who are certified COVID-free to take these people to the doctors, even if there's an extra expense. Visitations at windows that you got a crack and there's no seat. There's a lot of issues here going on. And my part of this is that Oakland County being the epicenter of corruption in the United States of America here in probate courts with Ehrlich, Frazier, Munger, Young, and Carter, and the 4 judges here have taken over my county, Genesee County, along with all the other counties surrounding Oakland County. Now, I want to just tell you, my mom is 93 years old and she was enslaved illegally by Genesee County due to the corruption here in Oakland County. And they train all these courts around here how to steal people. And it's time now in Oakland County that you take control of this, because the state isn't coming to the rescue. The Attorney General isn't coming to the rescue. The Supreme Court is not coming to the rescue. The Supreme Court asked the probate judges here, the SCAO forms that they use for the state court forms that they use in probate court, they say, is there anything wrong with them? Well, no, there's nothing wrong with them. We like them the way they are. Of course they do, because they're just open-ended blank forms that allow them not to follow the state law. They can write anything they want into them. There's nobody checking any of these forms. And you have the ability, just like Detroit does, to write your own forms and put them into law. You also need to take over all the guardianships in Oakland County. You've just had, I don't know, upwards of 1,400 people slaughtered in nursing homes for no reason in the last several months, and maybe it's higher than that. So this needs to all end. And you guys truly need to take control of this issue once and for all. We've been here for 2 years and you haven't given us our due, and we need to commit, and this needs to end, and we need to start this process here, taking control and showing that Oakland County is really the best county in the state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You can stand there and just, again, you can see yourself.
Oh, can they hear me?
Yep.
Good
We
evening.
can hear you. Good evening.
For taking, and listening to my complaints. This is Victoria McCasey, and I'm from Fenton, Michigan / Oakland County, Rose Township. I had a Christmas tree farm in Holly. I have been here several times asking for support and help. And I have also kind of given you a story, and we're kind of like connecting the dots together. The latest thing is that I have found the will that was stolen out of my farm. And now I've come to the court, and I've asked them several times to give me a hearing. They gave me a hearing originally on March 25th that got canceled because of the Corona-19 virus. And then I had a date back on August 27th. And of course, they said that they emailed me to cancel it because of the way Mr. Ehrlich sent out the new hearing date. He didn't send out the instructions. Well, I objected to the dates and most of the horrendous things that the court has done in that regard, and they use that against me. So I wanted that on the record in case I have to go to the courts of appeal, because it looks like that's what you have to do here, because there's no justice. But anyhow, I finally got a hold of Christine Wade, who's the attorney to Judge Callahan. And I have been asking and begging for a new date since August 27th, as well as asking them please not to go forward with Mr. Thomas Brandon Frazier's accounting since I have frozen the assets. I am the sole heir to this estate. They do not want to give me a date. They keep jerking me around. I think I've told all of you that I have severe dyslexia, and now they're using that against me. And I know that because Christine Wade told me that she was going to give me a date, and she did. God bless her. She sent it to me. And it says here that she's going to have the hearing for me to admit the will, and that's going to be on November 14th. Well, I don't think that I'll be available on Saturday since that's the Sabbath. So they're jerking me around. The paperwork that I submitted, she absolutely crossed it out and made her own paperwork up in her own words of what she thought should take place. All I'm asking is for them is to look at the will and admit it. I want to be the personal rep. It's my stuff. Not only is the estate half mine before we even get to the part of where I inherit his half. I worked for everything there. It's mine. I want it. Mr. Ehrlich and Frazier are not entitled to my things, and neither is Jennifer and the judge. They want stuff, they need to go out and earn it themselves. But I want my estate, and I'm asking you to step in and follow this case because you're going to see the corruption up close and personal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victoria.
We have one final live audience that would like to speak. When you're ready, you can click on that. And you can see yourself here.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start by saying praise the Lord, because I'm really blessed and humbled that He's allowed me to be here to speak on behalf of those that have already spoken. Already, I have witnessed the court system and how unjustly the injustice that have been done to each of the people that have given you their life history in but a short snippet. And so I want to share with all of you that are sitting on that panel now, because you're not there because you're so great. You're not there because you're better than anybody else that's here, but you're there because you have a high calling on you that God has given to each and every one of you. And that comes from Romans 13. And it goes like, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. So while you're sitting there and you're listening to these stories, they're crying out and asking you guys for help. I myself am finding myself in a situation where I've just become the guardian of my mother. She's 88 years old. I would hate to think or even dream whether it come out to be a daymare or nightmare, that I would be in a court and have someone to put such stress and oppress me where my mother is concerned, someone that's dear to all of our hearts. Our moms, you know, we get a whole lot of strength from our parents. And so I'm appealing to you guys, please. And I'm so grateful that whomever that was that opened that meeting with that prayer, I thank God for you. So I know I was led to also bring back Romans 13 to you, because none of you are sitting there on your own merits. Just please remember that. You're sitting there and you're listening to all of these complaints and you're listening to all of the stories. There are answers, but you're there to help these people bring all this nightmarish mess to an end. Prayerfully, it'd be a good one. Thank you for your time. And just remember, you guys have to sit also before that great God. His name is Jesus Christ. And you ended that prayer in Jesus' name. So I'm going to end my speech in the name of Jesus. Please hear these cries. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And Andrea, is that the last public comment in the auditorium?
Yes, currently that's the last. There have been no more online submissions and there are no callers that have joined since. So that would complete public comment.
Great, thank you. Well, and I will declare public comment closed. Thank you for everyone who came today to speak in our auditorium, called in, and sent written submissions. All right, that will bring us to reports of standing committees. So, I mean, well, I guess we can take the consent agenda and then go to recess let the committee break. Let's take a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion by Lube, seconded by Gershenson. Any discussion on the consent agenda? It's kind of a lengthy one. It's a lot of contracts with our local communities and district courts. Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the consent agenda.
On the consent agenda, Commissioners Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
I thought I voted no on committee on this, and it should have been on the regular agenda. The sheriff's road patrol, but I'm gonna pass.
Is there an item on the consent agenda that you voted against?
Yes, secondary road patrol came to finance committee, and I voted no to put it on that so that it would go on the regular agenda.
Which item? Where is that? Which
Okay,
item?
I'll tell you in a second. Item B. B is in boy.
Item B under finance?
It's
Or under
just,
health and safety?
oh,
health
it
and
was in
safety?
communications.
It was-
Wait, I don't have a, oh, shoot, okay, okay, never mind.
Okay,
I got the wrong agenda up, so,
there we go. I think that was our previous meeting, correct?
yes, okay.
Got it. Okay, so we're
I
good.
will vote yes on the consent agenda, sorry about
Okay.
that.
No worries.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Middleton is a yes. Thank you. Commissioner Miller,
Madam Clerk, I'm a yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Spiz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
You're muted.
Yes.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I was trying to unmute. Yes.
Gershenson.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Commissioner Long?
Sorry, Chairman Woodward, I have just a question. It was okay, we approved those on consent, those agreements with the townships, and then we're introducing the reimbursement part of it on later on N, but we're doing suspend the rule, but that was okay, that was on consent?
No, that item will be under new and miscellaneous business. We'll take up that item.
Correct, but those items on consent where the townships getting that are applying for that program, that's okay, we did that before we do the other
Yes.
thing? Is it okay? Okay.
Those resolutions went through committee and eligible for consent. We have to approve those, and then
And
we'll
then
approve the other item you're talking about.
Okay, thank you, I'm just checking for the order, thank you.
Madam Clerk?
I already said you had 21 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the consent agenda is adopted. All right, now we will go we'll stand at ease to allow the Health, Safety, and Human Service Committee to meet. They've got 3 items that they'll be taking up. The way that we're going to structure this is that, so we'll stand at ease, but we're gonna let this platform stay up. So if you're not on the committee or you're not presenting, if you can turn your camera off, and then the chair can start when ready. And then we will reconvene as a full group, and we'll have the clerk call the roll to reestablish quorum. So we stand at ease until Health, Safety, and Human Services takes up their items.
Chairman Woodward?
Yes.
Excuse me. Could I ask Commissioner Miller to call me, please? My phone number is 248.
I'm actually on the health and safety.
Pardon? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'm on health and safety.
Oh, okay. Well, after that, would you call me before we read?
Okay. Hey, Bob. Let the committee begin its business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. I will call the meeting of the Health, Safety, and Human Services Committee to order. 1 second. It is 6:04. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Nelson,
Here.
Okendorfer,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Jackson,
Here.
Howell,
Here.
Markham,
Here.
Gingell,
Here.
Hoffman,
Here.
Lubes.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Our next item is approval of the agenda. Have a motion by Commissioner Nelson, support by Commissioner Gingell. Any comments or questions? And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're moving forward with our agenda. We have public comment next. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak?
Currently, there are no online submissions. Your online phone calls are open. There are no callers and there are no live audience that would like to speak. So there's no public comment.
All right, thank you. Public comment is closed. There are no communications. We'll move to our regular agenda. So the first item is the feasibility study for the Oakland County Sheriff's Office Training and Emergency Operations Center. A motion by Commissioner Gingell, support from Commissioner Kokendorfer. Any comments or questions? Okay. We do have the RFP for retaining experts to develop a proposal for our training center. If there are no comments or questions, roll call, please.
On item number 1, Commissioners Nelson,
Yes.
Okendorfer,
Yes.
Miller, Miller,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Loops,
Yes.
I'm sure you have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion carries. Our next item is a request for proposal for purchase, maintenance, and video management of body worn cameras for sheriff's law enforcement. I have a motion by Commissioner Nelson, support from Commissioner Jackson. Comments or questions regarding the same?
Madam Chair, you also have an amendment, excuse me, an amendment to adopt on this as well.
I don't, let me see if I can find the amendment in here. Is the amendment on the regular agenda?
Sorry, let me try to pull that up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's after the resolution.
I see it now. Okay, so the amendment is by Commissioner Jackson. Striking out the Waterford and Southfield Police Departments join the growing number of law enforcement. Adding Board of Commissioners supports the Sheriff Department. Striking out, so I'm sorry, say it
I
again.
see it, the chair of the board, he worked through those issues with the sheriff's department. If you want him to address the issues in the amendment.
Oh, happy
Well,
to.
I think Commissioner Gingell had his hand up first if he wants to speak to it, and then I can, if someone moves the amendment, I can speak to the amendment.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I do believe that the amendment was moved, right? Madam Chair, I think it was moved by Jackson. I'm happy to support it if it needs support, or I'm happy to move it if it wasn't moved.
all right, we have a motion by Commissioner Jackson, support by Commissioner Gingell for the amendment.
And I was just going to ask on page 8 and 9, the amendment that we're adopting with the red lines, is this consistent with the language that I understood was worked through with the chairman and the sheriff? I see Gaia on. I'm assuming it is. Okay.
Gaia, you're muted.
Yes. Thanks, Commissioner. Good evening. Yes, this is the language that the sheriff and the chairman worked through. So the sheriff is in support of the language as presented as of the version last night. So if there's any further changes, we'll have to discuss it, but so far, so good.
Commissioner Gingell?
Yes, thank you. I just want to say that I appreciate the effort here to make these changes and happily support the amendment and the resolution as amended. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, roll call, please.
On the amendment,
Yes.
Commissioners Miller,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Okenderfer,
Yes.
Loops,
Yes.
I'm sure you have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Yep, motion carries. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, we also are been joined by Under Sheriff McCabe. They move fast in this committee, Under Sheriff.
Yes.
So they move.
Yes,
But
yes, we do.
both
Under-
resolutions.
Would you like to say anything?
No, Gaia covered it. We worked out the differences and we're good to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for all of your work, everybody.
Thank you.
Our last item on tonight's agenda is to authorize the execution.
Madam, I'm sorry,
Madam
Madam Chair,
Chair?
try to interrupt again. You have to do the final vote on it after the amendment adoption.
The
I keep
resolution is
interrupting
amended.
here.
Apologize. All right. Any other comments or questions regarding item number 2? Roll call, please.
On item number 2, as amended, Commissioners Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Jackson. Commissioner
Yes.
Jackson? Okay. Commissioner Powell on the amendment, or on the resolution as amended?
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
Angel,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Lutz.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries. Thank you. Now we're on to our third item. We do move fast in this committee. Our chair was correct. So this is to authorize the execution of agreement for preliminary acceptance of fiscal year 2021, our local health department agreement grant funds. So I have a motion by Commissioner Gingell, support by Commissioner Nelson. Yeah.
Madam Chair, I can give just a real quick on this, and we have Stacy Smith from the Health Department as well. This is almost really just an administrative issue. It's a major grant that the Health Department receives every year. We have a tight time frame. We aren't able to meet to do the normal grant acceptance review process. This would give a preliminary approval, give our chair the ability to sign the grant agreement, contingent upon the normal grant review process being followed through. And we'll bring a resolution following that review process when that's completed.
Thank you. This is contingent upon our normal review process, and it's another housekeeping item. I see staff from the health department here. Is there something you'd like to add to that?
Actually, this is Stacy Smith, public administrator. I'm sitting for Leanne, who had to take off and go to a school board meeting. But first of all, I would like to thank you for allowing us to walk this on. This is a major grant for us. And because of the tight deadline, we really need to get this pushed through.
All right, thank you. All right, are there any questions about this grant item? Roll call, please.
On item number 3, Commissioners Jackson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Lutz.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. The motion carries. Is there
Thank you.
any business to come before this meeting? All right, this meeting is adjourned. We'll return to our regular meeting. Thank you, everybody.
So we will reconvene the meeting in the board meeting in 5 minutes. So we've got some folks have stepped away 5 minutes. If people need to regroup, run to the restroom. But we will reconvene, and I'll ask the county clerk to call roll to reestablish quorum at 6:20 p.m. sharp.
Commissioners Hoffman,
Present.
Jackson. Commissioner Jackson, there you are, I see you.
Here.
Thank you.
My stylus wasn't working.
Kogendorfer,
Here.
Kowal,
Here.
Kuhn,
Here.
Long,
Here.
Lubes,
Here.
Markham,
Here.
McGilvray,
Here.
Middleton,
Here.
Miller.
Madam Clerk, I am proud to be here in your presence.
I'm happy to have you here. Nelson,
Here.
Powell,
Here.
Quarles,
Here.
Biz,
Here.
Taub,
Here.
Weipert,
I'm here.
Woodward,
Present.
Zach,
Here.
Gershenson,
Here.
Gingell.
Here.
Mr. Chair, everyone is here.
Excellent. All right. Quorum, well, 21 commissioners and present. We'll move on to pick up where we left off. This is the regular agenda. Starting off with the Finance and Infrastructure Committee, I will recognize Commissioner Helene Zach. I guess first we should, I guess the first thing we need to do at 6:25, I will declare the public hearing for the fiscal year 2021 General Appropriations Act open and see if there's any members of the public that wish to speak to it. I'll hand the floor back over to Commissioner Zach. And is there anyone here to speak regarding the fiscal 2021 General Appropriations Act action as it relates to our annual budget?
No, currently there are no public comment, there are no online submissions, and there are no callers.
All right, I'm seeing no one wishing to speak during the public hearing. I will declare the public hearing closed, and then I will recognize Chair of our Finance Committee, Commissioner Helene Zach.
I want to move the fiscal year 2021 General Appropriations Act and 2021 County General Property Tax Rates Act and move to approve this budget.
Moved by Commissioner Zach, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. I know that we have a few amendments, and if it's okay with the group, I will recognize, let's take up the amendments, and then we can speak to the budget as a whole. I'll recognize first Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have an amendment to offer. Can we get staff to pull it up on the screen?
I assume that silence is agreement.
Also, what page is it on the agenda?
No, one like ours. 130.
Can we zoom in? Can we zoom on that?
And it's, excuse me, 455.
There's two of them up for sale right now.
Correct.
Commissioner Jackson, you're not muted.
Mr. Chair, this amendment will assign $2 million for the Tri-Party Road Improvement Program and $2 million for the Local Road Improvement Matching Program, with the intended purpose of assisting our cities, villages, and townships with the construction and maintenance and repair of roads. As we all know, these funds continue successful programs to repair and maintain our roads in partnership with our local communities.
Commissioner Nelson moves. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Gingell. Any discussion on the amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Taub.
I'm just curious why
we have to amend this? This wasn't in the budget?
So it is, we're inserting the following, be it further resolved. So what was just on the screen, Commissioner Taub, is the insert of an additional, be it further resolved clause.
Thank you. I understand that perfectly well. I can read. However, I'm wondering why, after all these years, since 1993, it was taken out of the budget. Why does the budget have to be amended for? Mr.
Commissioner, I'd be happy to answer that question. The budget as presented, and remember, this is a assignment of fund balance. We appropriate these things on an annual basis, and so this is an assignment of fund balance action. By doing this, it continues the program as to the exact levels of the current fiscal year that we're in.
Well, my question is, I don't recall, maybe I better ask the previous chair, if we ever voted on an amendment like this for repairing roads in the community. One, I think, is tri-party, and the other is, I've forgotten the name of it. But it has always been local road improvement. It has always, as I recall, been part of the budget. We've never had to amend it. So if you're amending something, obviously it was left out. My question is, why was it left out? Is there someone from the administration who can tell me why?
Commissioner Taub and Commissioner Dindo, if you want to speak to this. This is an assignment of fund balance. This is not an appropriation. So there you have the appropriated budget, and on a regular basis, we would take action to assign fund balance, whether during the budget process or at the close of books and at the end of the fiscal year, usually. I mean, obviously September 30th being the last day of the fiscal year, and assigning fund balances in actions that we usually would take place in December.
Okay, but this was never part of this was never voted on this way as an amendment to the budget that I recall. As I recall, it did not come from the fund balance, but it was part of the regular budget. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That's it. No, I mean, it's never been part of the budget. It's always been an assigned fund balance. We need to take action. And I mean, I think that there's broad consensus to want to support it. And that's why this amendment is being offered, to let it be known. The intention is to allocate $2 million to Tri-Party on the next fiscal year, as well as $2 million to the local road improvement program, so that these two programs can continue to provide that matching fund support to our local communities.
Mr. Chair, I don't know if I could offer a little history here. Having been with the board for a number of years, this has been an annual routine, actually, between the county executive, regardless of who has held the office of county executive, and the legislative branch. It's regularly not been included in the long-term plan, and then we put it back in again, including last year's budget.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you,
why wasn't it put back in committee?
Commissioner Taub, I mean, there's an amendment before us to amend the budget, and we are voting to do that. And all 21 of us they have an opportunity to vote to do that right now. Commissioner Middleton.
Yes, this resolution, this amendment was put up for a vote in Finance Committee, and it was voted down, three yes and the rest were no's.
Any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the amendment.
On the amendment, Commissioners Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Fizz,
Yes.
Cobb.
Yeah.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Kirshenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
On a good roll, a sufficient number voted in the affirmative, the amendment is adopted. Who has the next amendment? Sorry, I lost my page here. I'm 452. Commissioner Spiz, I believe you have an amendment. Oh, you're on mute.
All right, I have an amendment here to, just, I don't have to read it, to add $10 million within the 20 year-end report for budget stabilization reserve, signed fund balance with the intended purpose to set aside surplus revenue for times of unexpected revenue shortfall in the upcoming years. I move the foregoing resolution, or the foregoing amendment.
It's moved by Commissioner Spiz, seconded by Commissioner Weipert. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the amendment.
On the Spiz amendment, Commissioners Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
thank you. Spiz,
Yes.
Chaub,
Yes.
Weipert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Kirshenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voted in the affirmative, the amendment is adopted. Next amendment. Is it, who's got the next amendment?
Got Mr. Hoffman's name on it, but
Commissioner
Travis.
Hoffman,
What page? What page number?
457.
457.
I have it. I can read it.
Okay. Or we can put it up on the screen too.
All right, do that. Thank you.
So Commissioner Hoffman is going to move the amendment on that, the page. Is there a second? No, that's smaller. Second by Commissioner Spiz. This is a fund balance assignment of $1 million to support the public safety facility planning assignment fund balance for the intended purpose of obtaining architectural design plans associated with public safety, training, emergency operations, and so forth. Any discussion? Staff can take the amendment down so I can see everyone's bright eyes. Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just to make sure I understand, so this is an allocation or a restriction of dollars, but it doesn't mean that it's a full commitment to spend them, right? It's just earmarking them?
Correct. We are assigning fund balance to, if we were to ever appropriate, this board would take action to appropriate those. When the Public Safety Committee met, this is one of the items to do an RFP to figure out what it's going to cost to do this part of the project, design, architectural, building, etc. And from there, if we were to decide to move forward, a resolution will be brought forth to spend those dollars.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the Hoffman amendment, Commissioners Kowal,
Hey.
Yes.
You okay? No, not really.
somebody needs to unmute themselves.
Go ahead
Go
and
ahead.
meet.
There's a lot of if you're not, can you please mute?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's try that again, shall we? Commissioners Kowal,
Yes.
Thank you. Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Fizz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Kirshenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the amendment is adopted. Next up, I'll recognize Commissioner Markham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment is to assign $1 million of the fund balance to Community Public Safety Partnership Fund Balance to create a public-private partnership to support Oakland County communities interested in the adoption and implementation of community policing initiatives.
If staff can put it up on the board so everyone can see it. Moved by Commissioner Markham, seconded by Commissioner Zach. Is there, that's the amendment right there. That's the amendment. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Hoffman.
A question. Describe community policing for me, please.
Well, let me, and Commissioner Markham can jump in, but let me say that this is the administration plans to bring forth a proposal in October in partnership with the Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan. Community policing is a strategy of engaging the community in joint policing with law enforcement. The Communities Foundation for Southeast Michigan is planning to provide some grants to local communities who want to voluntarily opt into this. These additional funds will make it possible for more communities to voluntarily participate and provide technical support and assistance in helping support that.
Thank you.
And again, this is an assignment of fund balance. This is not an appropriation. There will be an appropriation request coming forth. I expect in October that the administration will be bringing forth a proposal and a contract to utilize these funds.
Mr. Chair,
I got Commissioner Gingell, then Commissioner Taub. Commissioner Gingell?
Yes, thank you. I just, I'm curious, has the sheriff been consulted or been integral in the development of this concept and the amendment that's being brought forward relative to the private partnership and the activities within?
I believe the administration has been in contact with the sheriff's office.
Yes, then if I may, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Markham. Yes, Commissioner Markham, to respond to that question, then I'll go to Commissioner Taub.
That's okay. It's my understanding that there is an existing organization that consists of law enforcement membership from around the region, including the police chief of Novi, but there's also a number of sheriffs that and other police organizations in the region that are already exist. And the intention is to work in concert with them and support further efforts to engage in community policing.
Commissioner Taub, then Commissioner Middleton.
thank you. I want to be assured that the largest police force in the county has access to this funding when it happens. The sheriff's department has the largest police force, I believe, in the county, and does patrol a good portion of it. So I want to be assured, Mr. Chair, before I vote on this, that they too will be able to participate in this. Thank you.
Right. Yes. And Commissioner Todd, to that point, again, this is also an assigned fund balance. Any action to appropriate any of these monies would come before us, and I believe there'll be plenty of opportunity to ensure participation from as many local communities as possible. Commissioner Middleton, you had your hand up, I believe, as well.
Yes, I was concerned that this money was going out of the county to other police forces, and to Todd's perspective, let's make sure that Oakland County police officers are included in this or get the majority of the benefit from it. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Middleton, to that point, this is to help support agencies in Oakland County. This is not money going beyond there. It'll support agencies across Oakland County. Any further discussion? Seeing none and hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the Markham Amendment, Commissioners Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Biz,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal.
Yes.
Mr.
Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. And I'm aware of, I think, one more amendment. I'll recognize Commissioner McGilvray.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have one, be it further resolved, the 21-23 Budget Finance Committee recommended budget document presented on the 23rd to assign $400,000, the purpose of priority environmental remediation projects assigned from fund balance.
Moved by Commissioner McGilvray, seconded by Commissioner Miller. That's the last one that's in the packet. If people need to see it, we can put it up on the screen as well. Any discussion? Seeing.
Can you throw that on the screen?
Commissioner,
Word?
the staff can put that amendment up on the board.
Thank you.
Would be appreciative. Commissioner Hoffman, you had your hand up.
I'm just questioning what particular cleanup are we talking about?
Commissioner McGilvray?
Yeah, thanks. It's the electroplating company on 10 Mile in Madison Heights. They have 3 buildings, and this will be helping them out to tear down the 2 buildings. The major building will be paid for through the Eagle State.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Taub, followed by Commissioner Long.
thank you. I think this is a very good idea, but I'm wondering if the county, since the county is paying for 2 out of 3 buildings, as I understood correctly, if I understood correctly rather, that we would somehow take a lien on the property and the money from the sale of the property after it's all nice and cleaned up and spick and span and, you know, like your kitchen floor, I hope, we get some money back on it. Has that been thought of yet, Mr. Chair?
That's my understanding, that there would be a lien.
Yes. Commissioner McGilvray answer that question. Just for
I'm
those.
sorry, what did he say?
It's
Yes.
my understanding that there would be a lien put on the property.
Excuse me now, Mr. Chair, may I ask another question through you?
Certainly, Commissioner Taub.
Okay, will Oakland County be named in that lien?
It's my understanding that they would.
Okay, will you make sure that happens, Commissioner McGilvray?
Again, this is an assignment, so it'll come back before the board at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Long.
I'm sorry, I'm not real familiar with this amendment. So, were they not able to apply for brownfield for this? Why are we appropriating county funding? It seems like a brownfield project to me. So I'm not that familiar with that.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, I can give some background as well. Remember, this is a assignment of fund balance, and so a proposal will come, a resolution will come forward to appropriate the dollars, like Commissioner McGilvery said. This is the Green Ooze project, that gained national attention that was seeping out. The court has ordered the owner of the property to tear down these buildings. Buildings have to be torn down to fully remediate the process. The owner does not have the resources to tear it down, which falls on the city to figure out how to tear it down. The city doesn't have the resources. State has pledged to tear down, as Commissioner McGilvery said, like the main building. It wasn't an appropriation. Pre-COVID, a state appropriation to do that got vetoed, hopefully being put back. We don't know the full cost of all of these things yet. The other two buildings, which I believe have a smaller cost given their size, this is to set some money aside, shouldn't be on the hook for all of it, to help tear those things down. And as Commissioner Todd was talking about, put a lien on the property. And then if the property's, whenever it's sold or whatever, to get our money back and all of that. Basically helping front the money so we can tear down and clean up the site that, Green oozed at Christmas time in 696.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any further discussions on this amendment? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the McGilvray amendment, Commissioners Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Biz,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Whiteford,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Okendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the amendment is adopted. And that, I believe, concludes all the amendments that I see here. And so I will hand the floor back over to Commissioner Zach to speak to the question, which is the fiscal year 2021 General Appropriations Act and 2021 County General Property Tax Rate.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank all of the Finance Committee members and the staff, particularly our fiscal analyst, Mike Andrews, staff extraordinaire, for all of your hard work. We conducted 21 budget hearings, but before we even get to the budget hearing, the county administration met with departments, created the budget that they presented, and then our staff helped draft thoughtful, provoking questions that were submitted ahead of time to the different departments. After that was done, when they came in, we also had staff analysis. We had basically a 2-page, I called it my cheat sheet, that gave me a whole summary of the department revenues, expenses, and questions that they had while looking at it. So we had a lot of tools to conduct the hearings. Throughout the hearings, we had very thoughtful questions that were asked, and everyone had an opportunity, hopefully, to address all of their concerns of the particular budgets. So, as the Chair of Finance, I ask you to vote for the recommended budget for the fiscal year 20 to 21 to 20 to 23. This is a fiscally responsible and realistic budget in which revenues equal expenditures. It's based on a conservative property assessments and economic projections obtained from many experts. Unlike in prior years, none of the fund balance has been used to balance the 2021 budget. The goal in the 2022 and 2023 is to continue to eliminate the use of the fund balance. I firmly believe that not using the fund balance to pay for ongoing operations is a more conservative and prudent approach to budgeting. This is truth in budgeting strategy that aims for more realistic projections of revenues and expenses. This is not just my opinion. When we met with S&P and Moody's earlier this year, they said we had addressed both S&P and Moody's question about budgeted revenues being underestimated and budgeted expenses being overestimated. Furthermore, the fund balance will remain healthy and robust in the 3-year budget and during future years. We do not intend to spend down the fund balance unless and until the Board of Commissioners decides to appropriate some funds for critical one-time investments such as technology. Over the last week, I have reached out to many commissioners, especially those on the Republican side of the aisle, to answer budget questions, listen to their concerns, and ask for their support of the budget. I'm not sure you need to say, okay, yes, we have had tremendous changes during this term of office. We have new county executive following the passing of L. Brooks Patterson. Executive Dave Coulter has assembled a new leadership team. A bipartisan delegation met with the bond rating agencies where our AAA bond rating was sustained. Shortly after the bond review meeting, an unprecedented pandemic hit that absolutely no one could have predicted. The COVID-19 virus changed our world, and particularly how we do our daily business in Oakland County. The receipt of $219 million of CARES money from the federal government is a blessing and somewhat of a curse. While the money allows the county to invest in many important health, business, and community initiatives, it also adds many hours of commission work and weekly meetings on an emergent basis. And on top of all this, like every year, we must approve a budget for the next 3 years and appropriate the funding for next year's operations. Despite obstacles, challenges, and political differences along the way, we've always come together for the betterment of Oakland County. My hope is that we can do that again tonight. Adopting the budget is one of the most important things we do as commissioners. It is the tool that guides and supports our county operations for the coming years. A yes vote on the budget is truly important. It shows the rating agencies that we come together to support a sound and fiscally responsible budget. Favorable ratings will help Oakland County bond out projects at lower rates. I know that there is a strong interest in building a police training and dispatch center, which would require bonding. A yes vote supports the important county services of health, public safety, emergency response, and more. I implore all of you to come together to vote yes and support our residents with funding our important county services, support our valuable employees, and move Oakland County forward together. As our county exec said, it's Oakland together. Let's work together to pass a unanimous budget tonight like we have done in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Zach. Is there any further discussion? Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the comments from the Finance Chair. The Republican caucus has studied the budget as well. And a number of us have also studied the U of M report and the comments from the experts that were mentioned. And we actually have the following takeaways from the expert comments listed in the materials that a lot of our budget assumptions were based on, to my knowledge. So one of the takeaways is that the county job losses in the second quarter of 2020 totaled nearly the sum of job losses between 2000 and 2009. There was also a comment made that the Oakland County economic recovery is leaning on an uncertain future of the pandemic and additional federal aid. Our own governor has been on the record saying that if the state of Michigan does not get additional federal aid, they're going to have trouble and problems. And that will trickle down to us at Oakland County with revenue sharing, which was not addressed in this budget. The additional comments made from the gentleman at University of Michigan and those in that study says that there continues to be substantial uncertainty surrounding the nation's economic prospects, and the outlook for Oakland County is no different. He went on to say that we have had several strong assumptions about the future course of the pandemic and the federal economic policy response to produce the Oakland County forecast. If those assumptions turn out to be incorrect, Oakland County's economy is likely to evolve differently than we have forecasted. It is for these reasons that a number of us will not be able to support this budget, as we see it as nothing more than a continuation budget from 2019 and 2020 that does not adequately take into account the significant negative impact that COVID-19 is likely to have on our economy. It is inconsistent with how we handled the budget in 2007 and 2008. And at that time, we saw the storm clouds on the horizon and we planned for them. We did not just continue forward with our heads in the sand. This budget is unwise and it is short-sighted in our opinion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Gingell. Is there any further discussion?
Wow.
Is that someone raising their hand?
Zach.
Okay, Commissioner Zach.
So I want to do a rebuttal on that. You know, I know that this, first of all, the numbers on property assessment, so were conservatively forecast. We definitely went under the numbers. When it came to the economic forecast, they were talking about 1.4% growth, and this budget was formulated on 0.08 growth. So it was a very conservative, underestimated budget as we entered, went forward. So we really based our expenses and revenues on a much more conservative number than the economists were forecasting. And I do want to say that we did cut expenses, that departments, going into the budget were asked to cut their expenses. And I'm looking at our clerk who gave up her deputy county clerk position and cut other things in her budget. So there were budget tasks that reduced the expenses as we move forward. So I would disagree. This is a very conservative, fiscally prudent budget. And we are always looking ahead. Every quarter, we are reviewing favorability, expenses, and looking ahead. And if necessary, we will pull in our belt more to move forward.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Zach. Commissioner Gingell for a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the comments from Commissioner Zach. I would just say I respectfully disagree. Out of a $900 million budget, significant cuts need to be made, and they should be made while you can plan for them versus when you're in the middle of the storm. I mean, I hear what is being said. I just would say that a group of us respectfully disagree. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gingell. Commissioner Miller.
Yeah, I just want to say I think it's unfortunate that this Republican caucus wants to do the first not unanimous budget vote. It shows a lot. I just want to say that. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I beg to differ with the previous speaker.
Okay, Commissioner Taub.
There were times when Republicans had the majority and two people voted against the budget, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Taub. I'm going to ask people to keep their comments too. I mean, the budget at hand here. I mean, I've got a couple remarks, and I want to appreciate the debate. Again, I appreciate all the time from the administration to commissioners to our staff that has gone through and to look at this rather very complex document, the chart of course, and how we should function. I think it's important. The chair of the Republican caucus, some of the things that we presented, I believe is actually taken a little out of context. The overall theme and position of our economists and Oakland County's forecast demonstrate that Oakland County is arguably in the best position to move towards a very fast recovery. And that's for a number of reasons. I think it's because of the fiscal planning and operation of our county. It's built on the resilience of our business community. I think it demonstrated that Oakland County has moved to use these COVID dollars strategically, and I would argue most strategic and fastest, not only in Michigan, but across the country, to get resources, particularly to those firms that are most vulnerable to this pandemic. This pandemic came out of, I'm going to say, nowhere. No one forecast a pandemic a year ago. And the fiscal health of this county allows us to weather that. And we have been weathering that and are on good footing going forward. What's essential with this budget is that we put in place a county operation that is going to allow for us to fund our public health, to continue to respond to this public health emergency, this pandemic. It's absolutely essential. Our largest expenditure is our law enforcement and public safety parts of the budget. It's absolutely essential that we fund those operations. It's absolutely essential we fund veteran affairs and our parks and the things that we all value here as part of Oakland County. And what this budget does do, it does take a very conservative approach in dollars coming in, but also put some reforms to suggest that the dollars that come in should be equal to the expenditures that go out. That truth in budgeting is a concept that it's continuing to evolve so that we're not reliant on fund balance year to year to year, so that we have a healthy fund balance, which will be maintained and preserved under this current budget. Furthermore, the building on efficiency, relying on fund balance for those one-time expenditures to increase efficiency, to make certain that we are regularly evaluating outcome performances across the budget is what this whole process has been about. And I believe that the county administration has been incredibly transparent and open to conversations with individual commissioners and making themselves available so that we can do this together. And what this budget today does, it allows for us to fund Oakland County services on the strong footing that we stand on today, to make adjustments if necessary, but to make certain that a budget that we adopt is equal to the expenditures we anticipate being made. I believe that's exactly what the public wants. There has been belt tightening, and as things continue to progress, we will continue to belt tighten out of the request to make sure that we identify additional rainy day funds that should. Right, we don't have a crystal ball, and that we see a difference in revenue coming in. We're in a better position to be able to do that. But I want to underscore something, that we've drawn on the best experts to be able to gauge what that amount is, and then we're coming out underneath that and making sure that our expenditures match that. Now that's good governance, across the board. And I really hope that all of us can come together to govern together, to hold the hearings, to continue to monitor, not just on a quarterly basis, but on an ongoing basis, so that we can fund these things that our communities need, probably in terms of a very public way, more than they've needed them in the past. And so I want to applaud everybody who's been part of this process. It is a solid budget that's built on strong fiscal management practices, that maintains the tradition of long-term planning and an ongoing monitoring of these dollars, and ensuring that we have a healthy fund balance to really weather a pandemic or any other economic calamity that happens in the future. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the budget.
On the budget, Commissioners Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Very proud of this budget, yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
No.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Fizz,
Yes.
Cobb,
No.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Absolutely, yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Unfortunately, no.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Commissioner Jackson, you're on mute. And now she's a ghost. Commissioner Jackson, are you on mute? Can you give me a signal,
about a thumbs up.
like a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the budget? No, you gotta put it in the camera. That's a thumbs up. We see two thumbs up.
Okay, you only
You
get
only
one
get
vote.
one vote.
You
All
only
right.
get one vote. So one thumbs up.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Thank
got
you.
it. All right.
Still only get one vote though. Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
No.
Kuhn,
No.
Long,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 16 yeas, 5 nays.
A sufficient number in the voting in the affirmative. The budget for 2021, the appropriation for 2021 county operations is adopted. Thank you, everybody. All right, that moves us to Commissioner Zach. I think that concludes your report.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Zach. Next, I'll recognize Commissioner Penny Lubes, the Chair of the Health, Safety, and Human Services Committee. Oh, Commissioner Lubes,
Commissioner
I think you're on mute.
You did.
Thank you. But 1 minute, my computer's loading back up. All right, so your first item on the regular agenda under health and safety is the Automobile Theft Prevention Authority grant acceptance that I move.
Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner McGilvery. Is there a report for, there's no report for this, so never mind.
But that's,
Any discussion? Guys here too? No discussion? Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yep. On the resolution, Commissioners Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Fizz,
Yes.
Top,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted.
Mr. Chair, we did have a report on that one. I don't know if you could just do a unanimous consent to accept that report.
There was a report? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I apologize. Commissioner Lubes moves, seconded by Commissioner McGilvery to accept the report on that item retroactively. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. The report is adopted unanimously. All right, now I'll recognize Commissioner Lubes for the next item.
Our second item is recognizing the second Monday of October as Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Commissioner Lubes moves the report, seconded by Commissioner Miller. All in favor of receiving the report, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay.
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 Aye. That report is received. Now we move to
Mr. Chair, I'd like to request a roll call vote.
a roll call vote on receiving the report from the committee.
Yes, sir, please. There were yeas and nays.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll on receiving a report on this item.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, there is no report from the committee on this item.
Oh, it's a Board of Commissioner initiated resolution.
Yeah.
But there's no report from that. It's a report for other departments. So, okay, then my mistake for asking for a report. No need to call the roll on that. Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had requested the last time we brought this forth to add my name as a co-sponsor, and I was hoping that it wasn't too late to do so.
But I will make sure that we do that in a moment. Let's first, I'm going to have Commissioner Lubes, Commissioner Miller move, seconded by Commissioner Lubes to move the resolution. Okay, so next, Commissioner Nelson, I get to move an amendment to add a name as a co-sponsor. You can do that. We normally have the sheet to go around. So Commissioner Nelson moves. Is there any other commissioners that want to be added as co-sponsor that's not currently on? Seeing Commissioner Lubes, so we'll make it Commissioner Nelson, Commissioner Lubes, Commissioner Zach, Commissioner Jackson. Anybody else? Seeing none. Moved by Nelson, second by Miller to add names as co-sponsor to this resolution. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Those members' names are added as co-sponsor. That brings us to the main motion. Is there any discussion on the resolution?
Oh, I sign out.
Commissioner Miller, followed by Gengel and Hoffman.
Thank you, Chair. This resolution replaces a holiday that has negative actions against Indigenous people, which is in counter to Oakland County's values of equality, diversity, and inclusion. This change is a long time coming and can serve as an educational tool about tribal culture in the history. For a long time, we've done a bad job recognizing Indigenous people and given way too much credit to Columbus Day. Thank you.
Commissioner Miller, moved to Commissioner Gengel, followed by Commissioner Hoffman. Commissioner Gengel.
Mr. Chair, I'll defer to Commissioner Hoffman first, and then I'd like to speak after, please.
Certainly. Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you very much. I will only support this if you make it all inclusive. And I think that's what Democrats always talk about, being all inclusive. And Columbus contributed a lot to the history of the world. He took great risk in what he did. And what's interesting is, the sad part is about this commentary, is the fact that he supported slavery, which unfortunately also was a culture of the time. And we've evolved past that. But if you read history, the 5 largest Indian nations in the United States were some of the biggest slave owners. So to substitute one for another, and granted, the Indians were abused, they were taken advantage of, but we can't erase our history. I think we need to make this all inclusive. We need to support them for the good they did and hopefully forgive the evils that were pressed upon them. But it needs to be all inclusive or I'm not going to support it. I mean, they all have a lot of things to add to our history and of what we've become. And we're probably descendants of a lot of those people. But if you're not going to read history and you're just going to keep passing resolutions that erase part of one history for another, to me, it makes no sense, especially when a lot of them were guilty of the same things that all of us disagree with now. But we have to put it in the context of the times and the culture. And we're past that, but we need to recognize all these people for what they contributed to what became us and became America.
Thank you, Commissioner Hoffman. Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was going to echo a lot of what Commissioner Hoffman said, which is why I'm glad he went first. We hear a lot about being inclusive. We also know that if you don't recognize your history, good and the bad, it's likely to repeat itself. And I think it's important to recognize the good and bad in our history. So I would like to make a friendly amendment to move recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day to the third Monday or the first Monday, if people prefer, of October, so that we can recognize, to Commissioner Hoffman's comments, in an all-inclusive way, different pieces of our history. So I would like to make a friendly amendment, Mr. Chair.
So you're moving, what exactly do we need to
I'll
recess?
move that we change the date of recognizing Indigenous People Day to the third Monday in October.
Moved by Commissioner Gingell, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. I don't know, I mean, if it's okay with the group, we won't do our normal process and recess to get it right. And I think it's a pretty straightforward thing. So any further discussion on that amendment?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I wanted to speak to the resolution, but I'll
Okay,
wait.
we're on the amendment. So can you
Thank you.
get through the amendment and we'll come back to you? Okay. Commissioner Miller on the amendment. You're on mute, Commissioner.
I'll be voting no on this amendment.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller. Any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the amendment.
On the Gingell amendment, Commissioners McGilvray,
No.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
No.
Nelson,
No.
Powell,
No.
Quarles,
No.
Fizz,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
No.
Zach,
No.
Kirshenson,
No.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes, for inclusiveness.
Jackson,
No.
Kokendorfer.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
No.
Markham,
No. No.
Mr. Chair, you have 10 yeas, 11 nays.
An insufficient number voting in the affirmative, the amendment fails. That brings us to the main motion. Commissioner Taub, I had up next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm having a bit of difficulty speaking and I'm miserable, but I will try to explain to you why I am not going to support this. I will tell you that Columbus wasn't the best of guys. He was kind of brutal, rather brutal, with any lands or properties that he conquered. And perhaps we ought to change the name to a different name of a prominent Italian person. However, Benjamin Harrison was president of the United States, chose the name Columbus because during his leadership in New Orleans, Louisiana, 11 Italian Americans were lynched. 11 Italian Americans were lynched. Now, as you know, Benjamin Harrison was a great, great, great person who definitely supported having African Americans vote. That was one of his prime things that he ran on when he ran for president. And he was appalled at these lynchings. And so he decided, in memory of the 11 Italians who had been lynched, and I believe it was 1891, but I'm not certain of the date, to make a holiday to commemorate their passing, sad passing. And so he thought, who was the most famous Italian person that I know of? And it was Columbus at that time. Now, you may want to change the day, the name of the day, to another Italian American who's contributed a great deal to our country. But I, for one, will not forget the people in this country, regardless of their race, color, or creed, who were lynched. That was dreadful and terrible. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion? Commissioner Gingell, for a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think this vote, canceling Columbus Day, which is what we're doing, is a huge mistake. I think the offer to recognize in an all-inclusive way both groups was more than reasonable, certainly could have been bipartisan, and it's a 10 to 11 vote with no discussion. So to me, we're continuing on, and I think it's a sad day where there is a movement to cancel Columbus Day and erase the history that has good and bad to it. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess Commissioner Gingell, I'm going to take some exception. I think we're allowing as much debate as people want. And so I don't understand. And we're recognizing a day. I'm quite sure that Columbus Day will reign on. We are recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day as well. Commissioner Nelson. Oh, you're on mute, Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to say that I'm grateful and I commend Commissioner Miller for sponsoring this resolution, because the story of Indigenous people are often ignored and invisible. So thank you, Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the resolution, Commissioners Middleton,
No.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Biz,
No.
Cobb,
No.
Wypert,
No.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
No.
Hoffman,
No.
Jackson,
Yes.
Pokendurfer,
No.
Kowal,
No. Excuse me, no.
Kuhn,
No.
Long,
No.
Loops,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 11 yeas, 10 nays.
Suspension number going in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Lubes.
All right, next item is the feasibility study for the Oakland County Sheriff's Office Training and Emergency Operations Center. We did hold our meeting in the midst of this meeting and received unanimous approval for this item.
Okay, Commissioner Lubes moves, seconded by Commissioner Spiz, to receive the report. All in favor of receiving the report, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. The report is received unanimously. Commissioner Spiz moves. Commissioner McGilvery seconds. Any discussion on this resolution? Discussed in committee beforehand. Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the resolution.
Okay, sorry. On the resolution, Commissioners Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Spiz,
Yes.
Chaub.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Chaub, I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. Wipert, Commissioner Wipert,
Yes.
thank you. Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvery,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Lubes.
All right, next item also appeared on our agenda of today to develop and issue a request for proposal for purchase, maintenance, and video management of body worn cameras for our sheriff's law enforcement.
Commissioner Lubes moves the report, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. All in favor of receiving the report, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Aye.
Report-
Nay.
Nay, is that
I'd
a
like
nay?
to see- Yes, I'd like to see the report.
They met during committee beforehand. Staff, are you looking for what the vote was in committee?
Well, what was the report that changed the resolution as it was presented?
There was an amendment, that was emailed around. There was an amendment, working, with the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office supported the amendment. And that was adopted by the committee. If you'd like,
Okay.
Commissioner Middleton, we can pause and we can send it, pull it up and have it sent again to you.
It's not on the packet agenda.
It was emailed. I can pull it up now if you'd like and share on the screen.
Because if I pull it up, then I'm 400 pages away from the agenda, and I don't have time to get back.
Okay, if we can send it to Commissioner Middleton so he can see? Or you want to see it on the screen, Commissioner Middleton?
I'd
Either
like
way.
to see it on the screens for everybody. These reports change the resolution, and I'd like to see how it changes the resolution.
And Pam had emailed it out.
Okay, if staff can pull it up. And Commissioner Gingell, I think maybe can speak to this and add some clarity.
Yeah,
Commissioner
thank you, Mr. Chair. So just as a member of the committee, there was an original resolution submitted a few weeks ago. And since that time, the sheriff and the chairman worked together to come together on language that was reasonable and considered acceptable on all sides. So Tom, what the report really is that in the committee meeting, we modified the original resolution with a number of changes. So then we adopted the resolution as amended. And I believe the report just outlines the action that we took to include all the amendments that the sheriff and undersheriff have signed off on for the wording of this now amended resolution. There's a lot of strikeouts and a lot of changes, which you see here on the screen now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Gingell. Yes, and most of the strikeouts pertain to specifications in the original version. I mean, strike that out and let the pilot that's happening help inform what a RFP will look like going forward.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Let's do that over again. Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman to receive the report. All in favor of receiving the report, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Reports received unanimously. And now Commissioner Lubes moves, seconded by Commissioner Jackson, to adopt the resolution as approved by committee. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the resolution.
On the resolution, Commissioners Nelson, Nelson?
No.
On the resolution?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you.
On the resolution, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Fizz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray.
Yes.
Was that a yes? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It's muffled. Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. That moves us to the next item. Commissioner Lubes.
All right, last item from the committee today was a housekeeping item, a grant.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, Penny. For the previous resolution with the body cams, can I sign on to that? And I think there might be some other people that might be willing to or looking to sign on to that.
How about this? Okay, Commissioner Lubes, we can just take a second here. Can we take a motion to have all of those who voted in the affirmative to be co-sponsors of the resolution? Okay, moved by Commissioner Fizz, seconded by Commissioner Weipert. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And the motion passes unanimously. All those who voted in the affirmative are co-sponsors of the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Lubes.
The last item is to authorize execution of agreement for a preliminary acceptance fiscal year 2021 or local health department comprehensive agreement grant funds. So this is time sensitive and needs to be signed by October 1st. Housekeeping item for us.
Okay, moved by, do we have to report on this one? Mr. Ward, this is a division instituted resolution. No report. So Commissioner Lubes moves the resolution, seconded by Commissioner Weipert. Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the resolution, Commissioners Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Fizz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Okendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Loops,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Commissioner Loops?
That completes the report from the Health, Safety, and Human Services Committee.
Thank you, Commissioner. There is no business under pandemic response and recovery, so it concludes all our business on the regular agenda. That moves us to reports of reports of special committees. There are none. Brings to item 11, special order of business. We have a number of motions to discharge. I'll start in the order. Commissioner Taub, there are 2. Do you want to give notice to the next meeting?
Yes, please.
Without objection. Commissioner Kowal?
Yes, I'd like to move to the next meeting. Thank you.
Done so without objection. Commissioner Kokendorfer?
Yes, I'd like that moved to the next meeting as well.
Done so without objection. Commissioner Gingell?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to notice to discharge miscellaneous resolution 20339, Board of Commissioners, free day use park admission for seniors, military, veterans, residents with permanent disabilities, first responders, and healthcare workers.
So are you moving to discharge?
I'm noticing because
I'm noticing. Okay.
I'm bringing it to the board since it has not been taken up in committee.
Okay, got it. You're noticing to discharge for the next regular meeting. Okay, got it. Brings us to unfinished business, where there is none. And now it brings us to new and miscellaneous business. Excuse me. So we have a number of resolutions, so we will take them starting from A through O on my most updated agenda here. So Commissioner, I recognize Commissioner Powell. First item.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner Woodward, Chair Woodward, sorry. I would like to introduce resolution recognizing September 2020 as Deaf Awareness Month in Oakland County, and I would like to suspend the board rules.
Request that Commissioner Powell moves to suspend the rules, seconded by Commissioner Long. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. The rules are suspended. Commissioner Powell moves, seconded by Commissioner Long to adopt the resolution. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Powell on the resolution.
I would just like to say thanks to all the commissioners who co-sponsored this with me. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Long.
Mute.
Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, Commissioner Long.
Sorry, I would just like to be added on to the resolution, so maybe you could do that after, whoever.
I'll do that right after.
Yeah, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the resolution.
On the resolution recognizing September as Deaf Awareness Month in Oakland County, Commissioners Quarles,
Yes.
Spiz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Okendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Loops,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, but the resolution is adopted. Now I take a motion from Commissioner Long, seconded by Commissioner Powell, to add all the members voting in the affirmative as co-sponsors of this resolution. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of adding everyone's name and voting in the affirmative as co-sponsors, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. The co-sponsorships are added. Commissioner Powell, you had your hand up. Is that?
I was just trying to recognize if Commissioner Colwell was doing the applauding in the deaf way. I caught it, so I wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Cole. We recognize Commissioner Gershenson for the next item.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. Can someone else read this for me?
Certainly. Commissioner Markham moves to suspend the rules to take up resolution declaring October 2020 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Oakland County. Second, moved by Commissioner Gershenson, seconded by Commissioner Markham. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. The rules are suspended. Moved by Commissioner Gershenson, seconded by Commissioner McGilvery to take up the resolution. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the resolution declaring October 2020 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Commissioner Spiz?
Yes, and please add my name to the sign on.
We'll do
Do
that
that
right.
after. Thank you. Taub,
Yes.
Wypert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Okay.
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson. I see a thumbs up from Jackson.
She signaled a thumbs
Yes.
up.
Okay. Still only get one vote. Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Spiz moves, seconded by Commissioner Wypert, to add all members voting in the affirmative as co-sponsors of this resolution. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Everyone's added as co-sponsors. That moves us to the next one. Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I would like to request suspension of the rules for the Board of Commissioners to immediately consider this under new business where the Board of Commissioners designate October 2020 as National Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder ADHD Awareness Month in Oakland County.
Commissioner Miller moves, seconded by Commissioner Nelson. To suspend the rules, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. The rules, the record reflect that the rules are suspended unanimously. That brings us to Commissioner Miller moving, seconded by Commissioner Nelson to take up this resolution. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Looms.
Oh, I was going to second it. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the resolution.
On the resolution designating October as National Attention Deficit Hyperactivity ADHD Awareness Month in Oakland County, Commissioners Taub,
Yes.
Wypert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Spiz.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Is there a motion to add everyone as co-sponsors? Moved by Commissioner Law and seconded by Commissioner Wiper to add all the voting in the affirmative as co-sponsors of the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Everyone's added as co-sponsors. All right. Next up, we got Commissioner Lubes.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to request suspension of the board rules for immediate consideration to designate September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week in Oakland County.
Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Whiteford to suspend the rules. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the rules are suspended unanimously. Moved by Commissioner, resolutions moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Whiteford. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is Shelley Taub calling.
Commissioner Taub.
Speaking. Thank you. Don't we have the same week as Patriots Week? What is the difference?
Chair, Constitution Week marks, September 17th marks the 233rd anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution. I don't know tell me what Patriot Week is then.
I think it's the preceding week, if I remember correctly, I think Constitution Day is the final day. And Constitution Day is the final day of Patriots Week, if I remember correctly. And this is a week recognized specifically around the anniversary, particularly the 233rd anniversary of drafting the U.S. Constitution at the convention.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the resolution designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitutional Week in Oakland County, Commissioners Whitberg,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Angel,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson, Commissioner Jackson,
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
thumbs up.
Yes.
Thank you. Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Biz,
Yes.
Cobb.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Commissioner Hoffman, seconded by Commissioner Whiteford, to add all names to the resolution, all those voting in the affirmative, the resolution is co-sponsored of the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. All affirmative votes are added as co-sponsors. Okay, that I think concludes the commemorative resolutions. And so the next resolutions, item E through L, are approval of reimbursement applications, disbursements for the Oakland Together Local Government Partnership Grant. If it's okay with the group, for expediency, Can I get a motion to suspend the rules on items E through L, moved by Commissioner Zach moves, seconded by Commissioner Lubes, to suspend the rules to take up these items immediately. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye. Say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the rules are suspended unanimously. And then Commissioner Zach moves, seconded by Commissioner, else one in the action? Commissioner Nelson, to move item E through L. These again are all the Oakland Together Local Government Partnership Grant Program grants to our local communities all across Oakland County. Any discussion on any of these? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On items E through L, Commissioners Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Spiz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Whitebird.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the grants are awarded. Brings us to the next item. I'll recognize Commissioner Taub.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a resolution supporting House Bills 4186 and 4187, making sure that when there are breaches of data from companies, that people are notified in a timely fashion. Many of us can recall the major corporations, companies and such, had data breaches, people's identities have been stolen, and they haven't found out about it for 2 or 3 years. So these two bills support a timely manner in which a company has to notify you that somebody else has your information, do something about it. So I think it would go to committee, and I'm not certain which one.
All right, we'd probably go to public service. So Commissioner Taub introduces to send to the Health Service and Public Safety Committee.
Yes, and I would hope that this would be taken up in a timely manner, because this is a very important very important pieces of legislation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And we'll tee up and we'll get an update also where things are with our lobbyists to participate in that meeting. Referred without objection. Next up, I got Commissioner Long. This is the
Yes, Board of Commissioners acceptance of the Michigan Department of Treasury, Public Safety and Public Health Payroll Reimbursement Program Grant Acceptance. I'd like to move to suspend the rules.
Commissioner Long moves to suspend the rules, seconded by Commissioner Kowal. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The rules, let the record reflect that the rules are suspended unanimously. And then Commissioner Long moves, seconded by Commissioner Kowal. Any discussion? Just so that people are clear, this is grant money. It's related to, Commissioner Long made reference to this early on. It's related to our support of CARES money to local communities. This is a portion, and we're picking up the difference of CARES money that they got through a state appropriation. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay. The resolution, Commissioner Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Okendorfer.
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, a little muffled. Cowell,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Biz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Wypert,
Yes.
Woodward.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. And then Commissioner Taub, you have another resolution. Before you make the motion, I just wonder if you want to consider doing this at our next meeting when we might be able to have promoted to Captain Melissa McClellan. Well, I guess she gets appointed next week. Would you like to have her at our meeting to take an action? It's up to you.
Well, I think, Mr. Chair, we can do both. We can suspend the rules and do this, and then maybe we can have the staff put this into a proclamation with a plaque so that she has it for her office wall. That would be a very nice thing to do. So we can approve this today, and then all of us can sign on to a lovely plaque that, I'm sorry. proclamation.
Okay.
I suggest we do both. I don't know her availability at our next meeting, but I think she certainly, if you've ever worked with Melissa McClellan, you know that she is top drawer, the best of the best. Thank you. That's what I suggest.
Commissioner Taub moves to suspend the rules, seconded by Commissioner Powell. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the rules are suspended unanimously. Moved by Commissioner Taub, seconded by Commissioner Powell to adopt the resolution. Any further discussion? I think Commissioner Taub outlined already who we're recognizing.
If I may tell everyone, because at the very bottom, be it further resolved says, we'd like to recognize Captain Melissa McClellan, an African-American woman, as the first ever female promoted to captain in the history of the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. I think that's a terrific achievement and for a terrific woman. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the resolution, Commissioners Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson, Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you. Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Yes.
Kuhn, Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham?
Yes. Yes. Sorry.
It's okay. McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Biz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Wypert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Can I get a motion and moved by Commissioner Taub, seconded by Commissioner Powell to add all those who voted in the affirmative to be part of, to be co-sponsors of this resolution. Moved by Taub, seconded by Powell. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. All of those who voted in the affirmative are co-sponsors of the resolution. Okay, that I think from the agenda, at least the printed agenda, that's the last item that I have. Is there any further new or
Well-
miscellaneous business?
Mr. Chair, we have two resolutions for referral to committee.
Two
Commissioner Middleton
okay.
and Commissioner Nelson.
Commissioner Middleton, okay. Commissioner Middleton?
Yes, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I wanted to say something.
Oh, okay. Can we do that under announcements?
Sure.
I'll come back to you, Commissioner Middleton. Commissioner Nelson?
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, is that me or Commissioner Middleton?
I'll recognize you and I'll come back to Mr. Middleton.
Okay, excellent. I'd like to refer miscellaneous resolution honoring the life and legacy of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her last wish to the Healthy Communities, Healthy Environment, I think I said that wrong, committee.
Referred without objection.
Thank
And
you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Middleton.
Yes, I have a resolution, landlord resolution to, it addresses the hardships that landlords have gotten because of the pandemic and the ruling that no foreclosures could happen for 3 months. So I'd like to introduce that resolution and send it to committee.
Okay. Referred without objection.
Okay.
I believe that covers all the two things. Any further new miscellaneous business? Seeing none, we'll move to announcements. Commissioner Tao.
I was just going to say that until we did this last resolution, that we did not mention the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who happened to be a very great woman and a very great jurist. I may not have agreed with everything she did, but she was one heck of a person. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tao. Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I would just ask if we could have a moment of silence. I'm sure everybody's heard the 26-year-old Chesterfield man that was killed in Macomb County from a hit and run accident on 94 yesterday. He was a road worker that worked for Macomb County, and it was a hit and run. Fortunately, the person that left actually turned himself in, I believe, today. So it's a sad day. I ask everybody to be safe out there, and possibly if we'd have a moment of silence for him and his family.
Take a moment of silence.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Commissioner Miller. Any further announcements? Commissioner Hoffman?
I have one.
Commissioner Jackson.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say, tonight, I'm very proud that as a full board, we voted to recognize October as Domestic Violence Month in Oakland County. On October the 4th, in Southfield, there's going to be a domestic violence awareness march sponsored by our police and fire, our 46th District Court, and the Southfield Domestic Violence Group. They're going to have two different marches, one beginning from 11 until 1 and one from 2 until 4, to ensure that it's not too crowded and people can socially distance. For more information or to register, if registration has not closed, you can call the Southfield Police Department at 248-796-5500. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jackson. Any further announcements? Going once, going twice. Seeing no further announcements, we'll adjourn to October 14th, 2020 at 5 p.m. or I call the chair. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Be safe.
Good night. Take care.